Managing finances is crucial to the success of any small and medium business, any business really. So how do you manage your finances for your business? I'm Kalila Reynolds, and it's time for another episode of Money Moves, JA, brought to you by Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service. My guest today is Errol Barnaby. He's the General Manager of Exim Bank's Finance Department. And keep watching because I also have a giveaway coming up. Hi, Errol. Welcome to Money Moves, JA.
Thank you.
But you should be welcoming me because this is your territory here at Exim.
Yeah, but it's your show, so I appreciate being there.
Well, this is such an important topic, financial planning for small businesses, for any business really. What are some of the key elements of financial planning?
Well, for financial planning as a small business person, you first of all have to know what you're planning for. And you have to have clear understanding of what your business is all about and where you would like to take it. The other thing is that you have to separate your business goals from your personal goal. Sometimes your personal goal override your business model. So your lifestyle should not dictate your business goal. So you have to separate those. Then the other part, you have to be on top of your budgeting. So if it is that you have to do what we call zero-based budgeting, in other words, every single element of your costing is based on what you know is the actual rates, prices, and stuff like that. You have to have a zero-based approach to your budgeting. Then on top of that,
explain what zero-based budgeting is.
Okay, it's simply that rather than just making a general estimates of costing, you have to know the basis of your figures or arrive at those figures. So for instance, if it is that you have the research to understand the basic rates that some of the costing they put into your budget, it is important so that you don't inflate your budget by putting in estimate, and you can underinflate it as well by just putting in estimated figures in there without no basis of calculation. So the budget, zero-based budget is more in control of your costing. And what you put in there, you know as a fact, so to speak. So after that, you go into, you look at your cash flow. You have to be in control of your cash flow. What's requirement, your cash that you need to put into your budget, all right, and your planning. Then you may have to also be in the know of your tax issues, because if you do not know your tax liability in your budget plan, you may have issues later on when you're about to commit those obligations. Then, of course, your customer. You have to know your customer. You have to know the basis of how they're going to pay you for you to plan your cash flow, right? And then make sure that your accounting records are up to scratch and take control of your stock, especially the costing of your stock.
Now, I'm a small or even a micro business. I might be my only employee, or I have a very small staff, 5 or less. I went into business because I had this great idea, but I don't know all this accounting stuff. And based on what you're telling me now, I'm afraid, I'm frightened. Like, how do I do this if I can't afford an accountant? What suggestions do you have?
Okay, by the way, accountant is good to have, you know.
Yeah,
they help you to do a lot of things. They can be very strategic for you. They can help you to save on costs. They can also help you to boost revenue and also assist in automating your business processes. Nonetheless, if you cannot afford one.
And before you continue, you don't necessarily have to hire a full-time accountant.
No.
There are many who offer services.
That's where I was heading to, that you could outsource as well, and as well as to cut down your costs. So let's say you cannot afford a person, the human resource. What you can do is, first of all, do some basic training in accounting. Have an understanding of how your debit and your credit works, where you track your transaction, a financial transaction. Then also you can get a small accounting package, just something off the shelf that can really input your daily transaction to kind of give you some report that you want. And if it is that you do not understand tax issue,
a package from where?
Well, you have some simple accounting package.
Software?
Software.
So like QuickBooks?
QuickBooks, so to speak. Those small ones that doesn't cost much. So you can always, from your end, do some data entry in there, generate reports from those packages. Then you can outsource if you do not understand how to compute your tax, etc. You can outsource that to an accountant. So there it is, you can minimize your costs. That will be associated with having a full-time accountant.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Not so bad. So what are some of the best tools to to control your expenses?
All right, first of all, you have to practice procurement planning. Without that, you may find yourself spending, and probably buying things that not necessarily competitive to your advantage. Then you have to have your budget intact. Yeah? And for every dollar that you spend, make sure you see the return on that dollar. You can feel it coming in. Yeah? And then embrace technology. It's very important for you. If you want to maintain your expenses and in control of your expenses, embrace technology.
What type of technology?
Well, you have technology that can, I mentioned the accounting software. I mentioned things that can track your costing of your stock, etc., your merchandise. It eliminates the manpower needs. So therefore, to be efficient and effective, technology may assist you to control some of those costs and be on top of your fixed costs. Once you lose that, you're going to be in trouble losing your fixed costs. There are inescapable expenses that you must be on top of.
How often should you track these costs?
Well, it depends on the type of business you're running. I would say as best as possible. Given what is happening now in COVID, we may have to be on top of a daily or monthly in the know of knowing what is happening in the business. You don't want to wait until things happen and you're waiting for the best to happen. So I would say as frequent as possible for your business. Normally, the person will say monthly, quarterly, annually, but to me, I believe a small business person should be on top of their costs. What is happening in their business on a frequent basis.
Yeah, I like to take a look weekly. Actually, I like to look daily. I do some of the bank balance accounting. I just look at what's there and knowing what I can afford. But what determines the financial fitness of a business?
Well, depends how you look at it. You can take your financial ratios, for instance, your solvency rate. You can look at your profitability. You could take into account your balance sheet if it's healthy, and also your ability to access finance. All right? That is so important to you as well.
So you are here at Exim. What are the things that you all look for in the financials of a business?
Well, their cash flow, for instance, their profitability. And as a going concern, the business, you have to establish that with us, that you'll be able to pay back your loans. All right? Sometimes you may have challenges with regard to customer or your timing of your cash flow. For instance, your customer don't pay you, in the meantime you have commitments to fulfill. But nonetheless, you have to be in the know in terms of how your cash is going to flow in the system.
Okay, so just generally knowing what's coming in and what's going out and being able to prove that on paper.
Yes.
So having a bank account would be key.
Yes.
Because that shows the flows.
You can use that to track your movement and your cash as well.
All right, thank you so much, Errol. I look forward to talking to you some more. I know you could go on this topic all day, couldn't you?
Indeed, we could. There's so much to talk about on small business financing.
All right, good. It's now time for our giveaway question. Errol, you do the honors.
Okay, I would like you to give me 2 key elements of financial planning for small businesses.
Answer that question on Exim Bank's Instagram page at EximBankJA, and you can win yourself a lovely prize. Here's a recap of Errol's top tips on managing your finances. Separate business from personal goals. Use zero-based budgeting. Get to know your customer and invest in basic accounting training and software. If you don't have a lot of experience managing finances, it can feel overwhelming and daunting, but hopefully you can use these tips today to move your business forward. I'm Kalila Reynolds, and that's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you by Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service. Stay safe.